constant rotation, it's all about the wrist. I've been riding on my way, been gone for some days.
What's up, guys? Gert here. Before we get into this Benji interview, I just gotta give y'all the notice that this podcast, this interview, this spectacular is brought to you by Audible.com. Audible is your only source for audiobooks. Get one free audiobook download in a 30-day free trial at audibletrial.com/constant-rotation. They have over 180,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, MP3 player. Apparently, over 500 other devices are supported. So for all you smart fridge owners and smart toaster owners, maybe we could get Audible on there. Get yourself a free download over at audibletrial.com/constant-rotation. Try out the service, see if you fuck with it. We would appreciate it. So go on over to audibletrial.com/constant-rotation and you will get one free audiobook download and a 30-day free trial. No questions asked. Cancel at any time. No worries. Thank you. This intro track for the Benji interview. Benji, honestly, is just a good homie. Me and him have been chatting back and forth on the Twitters, on the social spheres. He's from Chatsworth. I'm from Chatsworth. Kind of just the valley in general. Me and him kind of resonated on that. That's where it started. And then we kind of decided that it was time. It was fucking time. And he was in the Inland Empire, so I brought him fucking down. And he was like, yo, Gert, let's do this interview. And I was like, any fucking time, Benji. And it was honestly a pleasure to bring him in here. Late night stopped by from 4+Sign Sounds. He made a little bit of an, he dropped a few bombs more or less on the podcast. Him and Benji had some announcements to make, so you will catch that later on in the interview. This intro track is called Making Plays. It's by Benji, of course. Follow him on SoundCloud, soundcloud.com/whoisbenji. And yeah, enjoy this. Making Plays, Benji.
We got a dozen. Bad health got me out here chopping onions. Call my boys, I'm smoking all this tree like nothing. Call it going deep, you gotta know I'm cuffing. Always dot my eyes, chasing peso. Money tank low, check the bankroll. No, I won't let them see me stunting. Cause they'll call, always needing something. Yeah, codeine bottles tripping, tell me what's the mission. We smoked all this cookie, did not ask permission. Making all these plays, now they see the vision. When you making a lot of records, they gon' have to listen. Yeah, loose lips, flexing for the gram with they bits. Give and go with such ease, I don't ever trip. I don't play these games, bitch, make my lane switch. Ride around and watch me get this cash, yeah, this math, yeah. Always showing late to keep my image straight. Stayed up all these nights, nothing made me change. Who they tweeting about, cause all my shit is flames. I can't lie, their music sounds so lame. Yeah, .com, flex my wrist, we working. Life goes, gotta out here shopping Birkin. Check her wrist is shining, all this shit is blinding. Shorty play a role, she always keep it private. Always dot my eyes, yeah, that's wavy. Money light though, called the 5-0. Look, I can't let them pull me over. Cause we high, always reeking odor, yeah. Codeine bottles tripping, tell me what's the mission. We smoked all this cookie, did not ask permission. Making all these plays, now they see the vision. When you making a lot of records, they gon' have to listen, yeah.
Welcome to another In Rotation conversation. My name's Garrett at YoGert on Twitter. I'm here with Benji, man. Benji,
what up?
how you doing, man?
Good, man.
We've been talking for a minute. let's be honest here. We've been communicating, trying to get you in this studio. You hit me up. You said you're in the Inland Empire. We got it happening. How's it feel, dude? I mean, not to be here, but how's it feel to just be alive, dude? How you been? Like, how's 2016?
Good, man. It's I'm here just because you always show that support. Have to show face and say what's up and get some promotion going.
100%. So I really just want to get into to start things off the profile of who Benji is, man. So how old are you, dude?
Do I have to be honest, man?
I mean, some people don't release their shit.
I'm fucking with you. I'm 27, man.
27.
I wish I was like 21, like some of these other dudes. So
Do you think that that's kind of the trend nowadays? Is everyone's getting younger and younger and just starting out at like 13, writing like verses in their like coloring books?
Yeah, but how can you relate to a 13-year-old? But
it's a whole nother discussion.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. But a lot of people say it's a young man's sport, young man's game. But I beg to disagree. Just because it takes time to get good. Some people are just musical geniuses. They get it immediately, and some people you got to learn. You got to do a lot of digging, a lot of researching to find your sound and whatever. And that's what I've had to do. Do a lot of homework, a lot of cover songs.
Mm-hmm.
Do a lot of
so you do the covers too. I was talking with Addison not too long ago.
I mean, honestly, if you can't do a cover song, if you can't do a good cover song, I don't think you're a really good artist, because you need to understand music. I mean, you don't have to. Hey, you
don't gotta actually come out with the cover.
You can make some money, do whatever you're gonna do, but it's nice to have that musical background.
So, coming from the background, where are you from? Where would you like affiliate yourself?
I'm from the San Fernando Valley, from the 818. I'm French and Persian. And just right now I'm in Chatsworth. That's our connection right there. Yeah,
so I was born in Chatsworth. You actually hit our, like, I think it was our messages on SoundCloud, and I clicked on your profile and it just said Chatsworth, California. And no one's ballsy enough to put Chatsworth unless you are actually from Chatsworth. So I immediately was just like, dude, no, are you serious? Because you wouldn't just put that, like, you know what I mean? No one fakes like they're from Chatsworth. People fake like they're from LA, but they're from Chatsworth. No one's like, oh, I'm from Chatsworth. You know what I mean? Unless they really were. So immediately I was just like, oh, this guy, we need to talk more.
People don't know Chatsworth, so they don't really understand what you're talking about.
Dude.
But Chatsworth is like, it's tiny, you know what I mean? So
Very
to
small.
rep Chatsworth, you gotta, but I bounce around, like I was telling you. I've been Tarzana, Northridge, but I rep 818. I rep the San Fernando Valley, and there's not that many people. I know. I think like Felly is like the only other dude. He talked about Canoga Park and stuff like that, and I'm right down the street. So
Felly's that's funny, dude, because our friend Mason Rice, he just from Lake Elsinore just opened for him in San Diego. So it's just small world, dude.
Yeah,
I love that stuff. So do you feel like there's a culture where you grow up? I mean, it's kind of LA culture because I feel like they also attach themselves to it. But what's San Fernando culture to you, man?
I went to high school in like Woodland Hills, which is like right on the border of Calabasas. But I went before, like, my high school was charter, and like they bust a lot of kids in from LA. And honestly, I had a lot of black friends. Like when I went to middle school, I was from a private school. Nobody really knew me. I had long hair. I was weird, and like honestly, the first two people were like these black kids from LA, and they just like took me under their wing, and like low-key they taught me a lot of culture. They put me onto a lot of music, and honestly, it's funny. Just they didn't see color and stuff like that, and just proceeded through high school. I had a lot of just different kind of friends, and yeah, man.
That's interesting.
I think there was, culture. I was always like the guy who sold mixtapes, and like I always had new music, and like people would come to me. I was like burning shit and like selling it for $3, and I go get lunch or whatever.
That's beautiful. So you kind of, because we have the luxury of just hitting upload on SoundCloud, and then it's just there and it's accessible, and it's
what, 10 years ago now. When I was in high school, it was still CDs.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
CDs, and you were still giving that girl you like a little mixed CD, like like hey.
Honestly, if you really want to step up your Game Boys, get on that mixtape game now, and then they'll be like, "Oh, you're so 90s, you're so old school, you got my heart." So, I feel like So you started making music in high school?
Yeah, you know, I was probably 15, 16. But you know, I didn't even know how to count bars. And then, you know, I started figuring stuff out. The guy, I thought it was too good, you know, and that was terrible. Too good. You know, I thought it was so good. That was terrible, you know, and honestly, yeah, it's been like probably a good 10 years now. Good 10 years, but maybe like 5 years taking myself seriously. And then under this moniker Benji, I've only put out music since December of last year.
Okay, that makes way more sense.
Yeah,
I was about to say for 5 years, and then Benji's very short as far as when you scroll down.
I went by a few names before, like I had Profound, I had a bunch of stupid names. Let's not talk about
No, you don't understand how honest you're being right now. No one, people delete songs off SoundCloud all day, and like they don't refer to their old profiles. You know what I mean? They reinvent themselves because they got to a certain point that they feel like they can capitalize on it, which isn't a bad thing because you got to do what's good for you.
Yeah.
But no one's ever out here like, oh yeah, I went by this guy.
No, I went by Profound. Like it's tatted on me. You know, I can't really hide it. I was more like into like I was listening to a lot of Slug, a lot of Atmosphere, a lot of Greaves before he got signed to Atmosphere and stuff, and I was like really into that type of music, like poetic, abstract shit, and I kind of got away from it. I don't know why. I just started listening to things that were less conceptual and more like just made me feel good, and that's kind of where I started going. Like if that music made me feel good, that's what I started listening to. So. Yeah. So what would you classify as the type of music that you kind of listened to growing up? Was it hip hop oriented, or did it bleed into that when you met the friends? I think, you know, like you had that question, like, what's the first CD you got?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
that's my favorite one.
Yeah, man. Like I just remember going into, damn, dude, it was like it was called like the Warehouse or something. You could trade CDs, right? So I had like a bunch of these old, just like, I don't know, irrelevant CDs that I didn't listen to, and I just went and turned them in, and I got some credit, and I went and bought a used Nas CD, and it was like Illmatic. And then I came back like a month later and got like Nostradamus, and I started going through Nas's discovery, and then I started getting into Tupac. You know, like I went to Nas first. It was funny, but
that's awesome.
Yeah, it was super random, you know, and that's honestly, that was like 14, 15 at that age, like riding my bike to the store, like riding my bike down the street doing that. And then, yeah, so like honestly, major guys I listened to like growing up was like Nas. Nas just always comes first to mind, you know.
It's easy. It's easy to listen to.
This guy is amazing.
Clicks.
Yeah, amazing. And then, you know, like of course I listened to Pac and Dre and all those guys from out west, and just dude, a bunch of stuff, you know, a bunch of stuff.
Do you see that influence your music? I'm sure that's. I'm not gonna say that you sound like Nas. You know what I mean?
Like you know, honestly, dude, that's the thing. Like for me to be where I'm at, I had to scheme guys like, you know, do cover songs of guys like Nas, guys like Raekwon, Method Man, guys like Greaves, Slug. I've done so many people, you know, and that's the thing I think that maybe sets me apart from other people, is that I have the capability of doing all these different things. And I've learned by doing all of them, but then I learned what fits me. You know what I mean? So I don't know where my direct inspiration of music comes, like who I've pulled it from, but I just feel like it's just...
But it exists.
Yeah. It's just a big pool of people, and I've pulled a little bit from everybody, and that makes Benji. You know what I'm saying? So
outside of music, is there an inspiration that you kind of fall back on? Is it doesn't have to be a through line. Maybe it's a present day. I mean, influences change all the time, kind of.
I mean, you know, I got 2 kids, so I look at them, and I just want to give them stuff I can't have. You know, I just want to be able to do crazy stuff for them, you know, and have crazy birthday parties and, you know, just stuff like that. It'd be awesome. You know, I just want to have money, like, so I could do things for my family. You know, that'd be great. That's always a motivator. But honestly, man, I love music, you know, and it doesn't ever have to blow up for me to keep doing it. And you know, it's just, it runs through me.
10 years, dude, most people quit after 6 months.
Yeah, it's cool to get recognition now in my 10th year, you know, like to get some recognition after I post stuff. It's awesome. Like, you know, like I was saying, like to find me in a room in Chatsworth. I'm doing my room, like music in my bedroom in a closet, and now we're in here in your room, you know.
Yeah, man. I mean,
It's bananas.
don't. I feel like those tapes that you're talking about with like the covers and stuff and the tapes that you're saying, I feel like that's the type of shit that when Benji, I feel like someone's gonna leak that shit online one day and it's gonna be the greatest. I could already picture that headline, like just fucking
I'm not claiming
Benji. Benji covers Nas.
Well,
did you see that video of a?
I never put anything out.
Oh,
you know,
okay.
like those things. I was smart. I didn't. But you know, I have some names that I went by, and I don't want anyone to put those songs out. But you know, like the stuff under Profound wasn't too bad. That was all right. You know, I won't be too embarrassed. But
So was it important for you to get to a point where you became Benji, I guess, if we put that?
yeah, I mean, otherwise I wouldn't be me. You know, I had to, and you know, I'm still nobody. You know, I'm still learning every day, trying to be better. But yeah, you know, you have to screw up. Have to figure out what's not working. You have to get harsh criticism from people sometimes. And you know, shout out my friends who tell me sometimes some shit sucks. It's like, dude, thank you. You know, I appreciate you. Just be honest. It doesn't work for you. It works for the other dude. That's okay. You know, and just learn from it. Try to get better. But yeah, man, I think I had to be React and Profound and all these shitty ass monikers to be who I am today.
I commend that, man. I appreciate it. You're also one of the few guys who has talked to their audience on like Twitter and been like, hey man, like I posted a track this morning. It's actually being remastered because I wasn't happy with it. And if I can't listen to it, then I don't want you guys to listen to it.
And
And
I
I know
shouldn't be doing things like that, but all in all, like if it happens, it happens. But
no, but you're also, that just shows that you care about the art. Like you're saying,
Oh,
like
yeah,
you
100%.
don't care about the plays. You care about making sure that it sounds good to you as
I mean,
well.
I'm not, you know, I'm not generating enough to really be like, oh God,
You're not gonna get hate mail
I'm
for
gonna
like taking
lose.
that
I'm
shit.
gonna lose 1,000 plays. Like
Yeah.
whatever, dude. You know. But yeah, if it doesn't sound right, it doesn't sound right. And yeah, you know, I think.
Substance over style. Most of you guys are style over substance.
Yeah,
Just
and shout
throwing that
out, you know,
there.
shout out my boy WizKid. You know, he never shows face, he never shows his name or anything.
You want to talk a little bit about him behind the scenes?
Yeah, you know, that's my boy. He mixes everything. He makes a lot of beats for me. Man, that dude's a genius. You know, anytime something sucks, calls me out on it. If a bar is weak, he calls me out on it. Matter of fact, lately he's been going real hard at me about my bars. You know, like Antoine, like you wanna, you know, Benji, you wanna turn this up. You wanna get somewhere. You gotta have more substance. You gotta bring more bars. So you know, all the time I'm just.
Is that hard to listen to that and then write? Because you're a writer, correct?
Yeah, I write everything. Yeah, you know, we fight, man. We fight. It's like a relationship. You know, you go back and forth, man, fuck you, man. Like, no, that shit is dope. No, it could be better. You know, and like, yeah, maybe in the first 20 minutes you fucking hate his guts or whatever. But you know, when you let an hour pass by and you're like, yeah, you know, he has a point.
Yeah, he has a point.
You know, or like, you know, maybe he has a point. You know, like maybe I should look at this. Maybe I should fix this. And you know, it's people like that that really push you to be better. You know, and honestly, like. Word to God, like I wouldn't be who I am today without that dude. And going forward, you know, so.
How long have you known him?
Like 10 years. 10.
Shit. Okay,
Yeah.
so he's
Shout out my boy
he's known
Whiskey.
it all. He's known it all.
What's
like
that?
he's known you since the,
Since
the
the
very,
beginning.
very
He's known
beginning.
all my monikers, you
Got
know.
you.
And you know, he raps too, but he doesn't dude is really good, man, but he'll show face one day.
Due time.
Yeah.
So 10 years back, we're looking at you at what, like 17, 18?
Yeah. 16.
What type
17.
of, sorry, 16, 17.
Yeah.
You're older, bro. My bad.
Nah, you're good.
I'm just adding years. Fucking, you're 21 10 years ago. As a kid, man, you want to get into how that, like, what were you into? You mentioned music, obviously, like sports. Did you play any of that, or maybe
yeah,
movies?
Play some basketball. Never was good enough, like, to be on the team or anything like that. Let's see. Yeah. What did I do in high school? Honestly.
I mean, you're slanging mixtapes. I mean, that's a hustle.
Yeah, I
in
did some
itself.
mixtapes. You know, we shot dice a little bit. Got in
Okay.
trouble for that.
Yeah, that was another question. Like, what type of kid were you? Like, were you a troublemaker, or were you like
Nah.
low key?
Yeah, I was low key. No one. I had some friends here and there, but I never really got in trouble. I stupidly got kicked out like my senior year.
Of high school?
Yeah,
Got you.
I actually checked out before they could kick me out. Yeah, but that was just on some stupid shit. But
It's a big fuck you to the high school. Like,
yeah, we beat them to the punch.
yeah.
So that shit wasn't ever on my record. But yeah, I mean, you know, I smoked a lot of weed in high school. I missed think I miss like being a kid a lot. Like I don't know. I feel like they were like smoking weed with all your friends made you antisocial, so we'd skip all the parties and stuff, and we were smoking weed, staying home weekends. I was working and stuff like that. Honestly,
looking at my photographer behind the camera, like yeah, like we may have done that too.
Yeah, real shit. You know, and looking at my friends who went to college. Like I have a couple friends. My boy Poirier was in school in Chicago to be a surgeon, and you know I got a lot of friends who went to college, and I'm like, damn, what the fuck am I doing? You know what I mean?
And they've already graduated by this point. You know?
Oh yeah, you know some of them are in med school and whatever, so they're gonna be rich. And I'm like, yo, what the fuck am I doing? I need to step it up here. But yeah, I mean, I wasn't that bad in high school.
Everyone finds their groove, bro.
But it's crazy. What I mean? Like my boy in high school was smoking with me all the time. He was taking AP classes, and that's the dude that's in med school. And that's what's funny to me. So it's I guess it's an individual thing.
Don't give up. Don't stop. So I want to talk to you because you're big on the dabs. Can we get?
I was trying to bring my.
I know. I was down, dude. It's just bad. Weekends are a little shady sometimes.
Don't worry.
A little spotty. But dude, I feel like everyone kind of knows what a dab is, but what's that SoCal like? It's kind of blown up in our area, especially. When did you first do the dabs, dude? Because I was in high school. It was like 2013.
We're not talking the dance.
Not Cam Newton's thing.
We're not talking about Migos, no shit like that,
dude. I know. So you were dabbing when
I was dabbing before the dab was a dance.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Okay, so I was caught off guard when everyone started talking about dabs on Twitter, and I'm like, okay, is everyone just smoking weed now in the most extreme ways? Like,
fucking weird shit.
You got to level up to this thing, hit a bowl before you get into this, like concentrated nonsense. But yeah, man, you're one of the few guys. Because "Smoke" was the first song I heard, and that fucking picture is just the best.
I just pulled that off of Google.
It's all good, dude. Welcome to this thumbnail. It's from Google.
There you go. Yeah, but I've been probably like dabbing 4 or 5 years, and we have the rig set up, and it's kind of blown up. A lot of the shops sell it right off the slab and shit. And
yeah, I've seen that too recently.
Yeah, so if you're not a smoker, that's just next level. Probably not ready for it.
It's concentrated, no carcinogens supposedly. I mean,
yeah, it depends who you're getting it from,
and as clean as you get it.
Yeah, there's different extract artists and whatnot.
If you're doing it out of your garage, be safe.
Yeah, that's what I did for Smoke. I shouted out a lot of extract artists on the record, and like subtweeted them and tweeted at them and Instagrammed them and all that shit, and it kind of spread because of that. It was pretty cool because I shouted like Vader, Moxie, and
so I saw that dab pen. Was that related to that at all?
What is it?
I just saw one. This is like months ago, dude. I'm pulling a deep cut, but like on Twitter, I remember you posted like a dab pen. Was that anything to do with Smoke?
No, I mean that was just it was like a mobile. That's like a mobile dabber.
Yeah, look
by like Dr. Dabber.
Yeah, that's what it was, Dr. Dabber.
Yeah, don't buy that shit.
Don't buy.
Yeah,
oh man,
unless you like low temp dabs. But I personally like high temp.
You like high temp?
Yeah,
that custom Grow 420 type. Yeah, he's like got 800 degrees taking the dab.
I didn't like it. It was like because what it is for like rich people who want to like taste their shatter, as opposed to like getting all the smoke and
getting as high as possible.
Yeah. I'm saying, dude, I'm trying to get stoned. Like, I'm not trying to like only taste it.
Some people are all about the taste testers. We have a homie who's just strictly like, look at the clarity on this, and like the culture's there though.
Yeah.
There's so many range of smokers nowadays that and especially with this new way of smoking, it's weird. I just want to talk with you because no one really knows the dabs like you do.
I love flowers too, but
did you have a point where you lost an appreciation for flowers? Because I did. I had that experience where I was like, no flower gang.
Me and my girl go back and forth. Like literally, she has to kind of force me to go to the shop and buy her flowers. Because I'm more so like, I'll just get higher off one dab, then I'll smoke this whole joint. Like, what the fuck is the point?
Do you get higher when you go back to smoking? Because that's another conversation we'll have. Is like, no, okay.
She says she feels it like really well, and that's the thing. I think it's different for everybody.
I think it's also mental. I'll get in my head and be like, I could be way higher off this dab, and then that just kills the high.
That might be the truth. Like, honestly, that might be what I'm doing to myself.
I just broke some glass right now. Just shattered your perception of life.
There you go. Dropping knowledge.
So before we get into the straight up music, that was kind of a profile. Is there anything that you want to talk about that I kind of missed as far as like?
Shout out Jeremiah.
Oh yeah, Jeremiah.
Shout out Late Night.
Shout out Late Night, dude. I appreciate you coming through.
Message, boy.
Oh, he sent you a message?
Send me my picture.
Oh. He's like, I see you, bro. Oh,
Yeah.
hell yeah.
Hey,
Oh.
shout out Late Night, me, him, and Emilio. We got something cooking up. I'm actually recording that joint on Tuesday.
Hell yes.
Like, thank you, Late Night. Thank you, Emilio, working with me. And
Long time coming.
Yeah, man. I mean, you know, honestly, they're good dudes for working with me, and I'm gonna record that shit on Tuesday. Probably have it to you by the end of the week when my dude mixes it. But yeah, man, that should be fun.
Catch all three of those people hopefully on the Inrotation mixtape too in December. I mean, we're still planning out the details of that, but it's happening. The ball's rolling. I'll be talking with you after this about that.
Yeah,
actually,
I'm trying to do something with Art Watson too. So shout out Art Watson. Shout out 4+Signs.
Shout out Inland Empire, dude.
Yeah, hey man,
I love
you
the waves
guys
that we're
popping
making.
out here, man. Make me want to move out here.
Don't do it.
Yeah, I'm not,
Stay the fuck
I'm
up.
loyal. I'm loyal to SFV. Man.
I love where I live. Don't get me wrong, guys. Like, I love it, but I can't look someone in the eye and be like, yeah, man, move here. Definitely.
Yeah,
like, there's so much out here, so many opportunities.
Strap Grit lives in the fucking boonies, yo.
It's not that bad, bro. No, I'm just kidding. But before we get into the music, I'm going to take a little break and plug the network. Yeah. This interview is brought to you by Audible.com. Go over to audibletrial.com/constant rotation and get a free audiobook download and a 30-day free trial over at, again, audibletrial.com/constant rotation. There's literally over 180,000 titles to choose from on your iPhone, Android, Kindle, not Zune. I've checked on that. Microsoft is not supporting the Audible app on the Zune. So if you have a Zune, don't live in 2007 because it is 2016. But hey, Garrett from concertrotation.com. I am telling you that Audible is a great source for your audiobooks. If you don't have time to read, just get into it. They have Girl on the Train, which is a movie that's out right now, but you could read the visual version, but you won't because it's actually going to get read to you. Divergent, Lean In By. That is an awkward. Oh, Lean In By. Oh, this is a terrible script, but Crush It! Exclamation point. Why now is the time to cash in on your passion by Gary Vaynerchuk. That is an option for you on audibletrial.com. You get one free download, so maybe you would want to experiment with one of those. We appreciate you supporting this network, audibletrial.com/constant rotation. Back to Benji. Thank you for that plug, Garrett. So let's get into your music, Benji. We're here. We're talking. We just got into your whole profile. We were kind of breaking down you as a kid. We also talked a little bit of music naturally because that's why you're here. What's the SoundCloud? SoundCloud.com/
It's Who Is Benji.
Who Is Benji. So if you are watching on Twitch live, twitch.tv/constant rotation live, and you don't know who this guy is, maybe bookmark this, go listen to some of his music, get a better perspective. If you're listening to the audio version, there will be a bunch of songs tagged in at the
Follow me on Twitter, you know, Benji.
Yeah, follow him on Twitter, all that good shit. The Twitter is below us, so that is an opportunity for you. 2016, man. Today is, oh man, don't quiz me. October 22nd, 2016. How would you gauge this year for you, man? You mentioned that Benji's kind of within its first year, kind of like Concertation. December 2015 is when we started.
Yeah, man. Hey, when I put out Tsunami in December, and I think, I don't know, like in like 3-4 months, it got like almost 10K, and a lot of people started hitting me up, and I started getting follows, and I was like, holy shit.
It's a wavy track, though. It's different.
Yeah, like, honestly, it was just out of nowhere. And honestly, this year has been awesome. I met a lot of cool people, but, you know, it's just, I'm at the beginning. There's a lot of other people who, you know, who just have been working a little longer. So I know I'm still on my way up, and still got to be collabing with more people, putting out more records and, you know, whatnot. But, you know, I'm on my way up, man.
Hey, this is like a question because I didn't know this prior, but before starting Benji, was it that you heard a song and you were like, I'm starting a new name, or a new, like, what? There's plenty. Every artist out there has been under a different name at some point. And if you are saying no, you're kind of lying. And I'm calling you out now. Like, my name's Garrett. Find me at Yogurt on Twitter if you want to call me out. But I'm pretty much calling you a liar. Like, everyone's been under a different name, but no one's open about it. And what causes, like, what becomes a Benji song and not a Profound song? Does that make sense? Sorry,
Yeah,
not a Profound
no.
song, but you know what I mean.
I got you. Yeah, honestly, it was the direction of the records, you know. How did they make you feel when you first listened to them, from the beat to the lyrics to the concept to everything? So like I was telling you, I was more like being abstract and more poetic in those days. And nowadays, I just, when a beat comes on and makes me feel good, that's how I kind of address the record too. You know, I just write stuff that makes me feel better, and I've just kind of moved on, like, from being so abstract and dark. I rather make happier music. Honestly, I want to make music that can reach more people, and you're only gonna reach a certain market when you're making depressed ass music all the time. You know, I rather make some.
Unless you're Little Peep making some depressed ass, like,
Hey.
he blew the fuck up this year.
Dude, there's some people who, you know, I don't know how they do it. They have a market for it. They stay true to themselves or whatever. And
it's like that market expands. It's almost like they made the market bigger by just by contributing to the market. Does that make sense? Because it's like, I feel like, not to bring up Little Peep in a Benji interview, but like Little Peep does a very specific type of music. It's like emotional. It's it's like emo, like rock, pop. Like the beats are very guitar heavy, and like there's a lot of strings, and it's like the drums are at a certain beat, and it's slower sometimes. But that dude just blew the fuck up this year, and I don't know if he even knew that he had that big of a market, but he must have. You know what I mean? Like he must have believed in his shit, obviously. Yeah. And it's weird. Do you see yourself ever like expanding into other markets, or you think you're always going to stay? Is it important to stay true to that market, or do you think shit changes after a while?
Yeah, I mean, people change, you know. I mean, look at guys like Kanye and whatever, they reinvent themselves every album. True. You know what I mean? So, and you know, I listen to guys like The Weeknd, and like The Weeknd, I've been listening to The Weeknd before. I don't know, what's the movie?
I'm very bad on any Weeknd trivia.
No, but that movie, that
Dope.
No. The movie that was about the book. It was for women.
Fuck. 50 Shades.
Yeah, like, you know, he blew up after 50, but like.
Well, yeah, he had that fuck. Oh yeah, that trailer was the most viewed trailer like that year.
Yeah, I mean, that's how white America knows him. But before that, I mean, he was such a different dude. And I think once you start realizing your true potential or different markets you can tap into, or if you have a label or someone who's pushing you to go that direction, and you could make that type of music, hey, by all means, you know. And I think if you're able to reinvent yourself and stay dope, hey, why not?
Exactly.
Yeah, touch different markets, you know.
That's a great comparison, honestly, man. I never even thought about like the white America side of The Weeknd and how that actually has changed how he even is pushing what he's doing right now.
I mean, yeah, because that dude was grimy. He was talking about drugs, and just that's not. You know, it was not something where you would want your 15-year-old daughter listening to, but now he made it in a sense where you can actually have teenagers listening to it because he dulled it down so much, you know?
What is that new song, Starboy?
Oh, yeah, that shit's fire.
So hard, dude. There's so much in there. Daft Punk, really, I like what they did, man.
He has another one, too.
Is this the was Starboy the first one? Because
Starboy's the first one, and
that was the one with Daft Punk, correct?
That's the one with Daft Punk.
That's the only thing I've heard, but I have seen some other stuff popping up on Twitter.
He has a second one where he shot this video, and like it's like they redo The Town. That movie,
the movie?
Town.
Oh, Ben Affleck's movie. Hell
yeah. They do they reenact it almost, and it's pretty dope. What's it called? Now I'm just like, I want to know what it's called, just so I could tell you.
So you mentioned Tsunami, kind of logging on and seeing 10K. And
False Alarm.
False Alarm?
Yeah, you should listen to it. Anyway, yeah.
Oh, False Alarm is the song.
Yeah.
Oh, I was like, False Alarm what? What's going on? Oh, shit. Is he making stuff up? I imagine this whole thing with The Town. No, but you mentioned Tsunami, you're logging on, seeing 10K after a few months. Is there one thing that you're looking back on this year that you're proud of? I mean, just one. Pick one. I'm going to make you pick one.
Dude, like my 800 SoundCloud followers, my 500 Twitter followers, that I never knew that there would be people that want to follow Benji, you know, like, that's amazing.
So were you on social media in the past like this?
Yeah, you know, but I guess just my music just never was, it didn't go viral, or just people didn't really care. It maybe wasn't good enough, and I got to a point where it was, and it just became accepted. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I was always on like social media, but just never really like blasted my music, because, you know, I told you I did a lot of like covers and went ghost for times, just to figure shit out, you know, go back to the drawing board and see what I need to do better. So there were a lot of moments where I wasn't putting out music. So to be consistent for like this whole year, yeah.
That in itself was
just a huge accomplishment. So
Hell yeah, man. That's so weird that like the guy that I know and probably a lot of people know don't know that you've been making music this long. Like that in itself is something I just learned in this interview with the listeners. So that's cool, man.
Yeah.
That's no like I run into people. I just ran into a guy. I'm a big fan of him. Shout out to NVS over in Florida. He's dope. He's super dope. But when I found his first song, he was at 100 and something plays and 70 followers, and then that song now has 30K on SoundCloud.
Yeah, man.
And he has like almost 300 followers, and now he has a music video, and now he's really pushing the music grind. But if that song, I don't know if that song blew up to the capacity. I don't know if like we would even, you know what I mean? I wouldn't have found him, so then therefore I wouldn't know that he blew up to this capacity. So it's cool to look back and just be like, well, this is like the road to this guy blowing up. And it's cool to see everybody's story and stuff. And just, I don't know. Like, because if I scroll down, I can only scroll so far on everybody's profile to see what their most recent song is. And if it says December 2015, then I'm going to be ignorant and be like, oh, he's only been making music till December 2015. Because that's all that's accessible to me. But then for you to sit here and just talk about the road to doing from covers to selling mixtapes in high school to like sitting in a fucking bedroom in like Elsinore, California to like talking about it. It's very cool. I appreciate you, man.
Yeah, it's surreal, dude.
So I'm going to get into the song making side of things. You mentioned you're a writer.
Yeah.
How is your writing process? Is it, because I have people tell me that they'll be at work and then a line comes to them and then they'll write that line, but then that line expands? Or are you one of those guys who writes a composition of, I'm sitting down to write this piece and I'm going to finish this piece?
Honestly, it's hard for me to, it depends. Like sometimes I don't necessarily have like one process I do. You know, I know there's some people who just like have this one go-to process. I don't really do that. For example, it depends how like I want to address the record, but sometimes I just play a beat and, you know, and I'll just start scatting to the beat and just try to come up with melodies and try to build off of the melody. Sometimes I might think of a dope concept, you know, while I'm at work or whatever, and I might write it down. But basically, besides that, let's see, how else do I write? You know, I might sometimes what I'll do is like I'll take different people's songs and just kind of like look at their lyrics, pick apart things I like little certain concepts. I'm like, oh, that's really dope, and I'll just try to like relate it to my life and make a bar out of that. So I do that a lot. God, so many different things too.
So do you experience writer's block? Me and Art were talking about that a few weeks, like a month ago probably now. But then I was just sitting with, why am I stressing? Oh, MQC was in here. He was talking about Newport Live with Derek the other day. He's a part of 4 Plus Sign Sounds from this family. Very similar. Ooh.
What's up, boy?
Hell yeah. We just had a late night. Just stroll into the interview. Say what's up. How you doing, dog?
What's up, fam?
I saw the homie on the interview, so
See,
I had to come through.
You just rolled through? Hell
He
yeah.
always supported me, so.
That
late night?
That's the real, this is some real consultation family going on right now.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, I was just talking with MQC and he was talking about a writer's block and how that's a real problem, man. What is it like for you? Do you experience that?
Shit, that happens, but you know, you can't stop. You know, you can't really stop. But yeah, there's times where you gotta just.
So I don't mean to put that like it's a disease and there's a cure to it, because I'm interested more in the fact of like, what is your solution to writer's block? Because I have people tell me they step away from the project and then maybe write something new. Addison does that. I don't know, just various.
Yeah, it affects different people differently. You know, for me, I will sometimes get writer's block for like an hour. And then just say, all right, you know, like, let me go chill. I'll come back to it. Sometimes I won't touch that record for a while just because I'm like, you know, you just don't know how to address it anymore. Shit, honestly, sometimes you just play that beat again, pull up the WordPad, and shit just starts clicking. You know, it's honestly, I never try to force it. Just try to go with it, and hopefully it
Not everyone can freestyle everything late night. I see. Fucking you can't just stroll into the room and not let me call you out on that. You got a gift, bro.
Yeah, I try to I can't do that shit.
Do you freestyle at all? Like
I'm terrible at that shit. I mean, yeah, I can, you know, but that shit, the people who are good at freestyling do that shit all the time. It's like you know, it's like anything you do, like shooting the shot. You got to be practicing that shit. But honestly, with a pen, with a pad on a WordPad, I'm a fucking monster.
It's the truth though.
Yeah, but like honestly, I'm very like I'm like organized. So I'll sit down and I'm like, okay, what's the tempo of this beat? What am I, like if I have a reference track, all right, what's that tempo, and like what's the direction of the record? And then after that, I'm just trying to plot out, I'm scatting and I'm just trying to like find like one good melody, and then usually I'll borrow that melody for the whole 4 bars or like maybe 8. Just honestly, it's just vibes, dude. Just going off the vibes of the beat, and a lot of like rewriting, a lot of getting drunk or getting high and like saying, what the fuck were you thinking? Coming back to that shit later, like damn, so a lot of that, dude. So it's just time. For me, I'm like really meticulous. I like this verse I've been fucking writing for late night over here. Dude, I've been writing it for forever. It's like fucking 12 bars. But it's like I keep going back fixing shit. Like this asshole changed his moniker, so I had to go back and change some shit. Ooh. So I'm like, fuck, dude. So constantly, it's always a battle with yourself. And
some real beef coming through on the in rotation conversation. No, look out for their track. It's coming soon.
I'm happy he did it at the time he did it. It helps me out. So.
Yeah. That's something we'll have to talk about another day. But so this year, looking at your profile, you're the king of singles. What's an interesting thing about
Russ. That's Russ.
Yeah, sorry, not the king, but you are the person who is putting out singles.
Maybe the SFV.
Yeah, Russ is out here mastering, mixing, writing, producing.
Hey, low key,
everything.
I've been watching that dude for like a year and a half, and that dude was a huge inspiration. Like I just watched him. Some people were saying like, oh, he puts out 1 record a week. No, dude, fuck you. He puts out like 2. Sometimes he was putting out 3, and he was mixing them.
It's hard to keep up.
Them, and it's like, dude, that guy could do it all because he has his hands on everything. And when you have your hands on the production, you have your hands on the engineering, you're mixing that shit and you're writing it, no one else can slow you down.
Hell no.
You don't have an engineer that you wait on him to send you his mix, and you don't have the mastering engineer. You don't have the producer waiting on the beat, waiting on the stems or whatever. It's like you're cutting out so many people, and that way, man, that shit really made me like.
I mean, he's the guy who's easy. His songs are getting millions of plays now on SoundCloud itself. You know what I mean? Not to mention the YouTube versions and the videos themselves. And
yeah, that's kind of where I got the whole just do singles. Just do singles, make the best songs you can, and because I don't know, dude dropped like 10 albums and nobody paid attention, and then he started dropping really hot singles. And even like
what did you tweet about the other day? You're saying that Russ hasn't dropped his first debut project.
Yeah, but he's making fucking $2 million a week, you know, and like everyone's working on EPs, and that dude's making millions. I'm trying to make money, like if people want EPs, I'll give them what they want, but give me money first, But yeah, man, watching him come up, and I was just like, that's a great approach. Obviously, I can't be like dude because he produces and that dude's like on some other shit. But
it took some time, I'm sure. You know what I mean?
But honestly, that was kind of where that came from. I was like, I'm just make songs, and now I'm here.
Now we're here. Yeah, exactly. Do you have a project that you think about sometimes, or is it literally what you just said? I'm not trying to contradict anything, but what is a project in the music space currently? Because you can just upload a single and have that get instant gratification. And in a lot of ways, I'll see people put out an album and the first 2 tracks have twice the plays as the last track on the EP.
I was literally about to say that. Like, that's what bugs me. Like, that's why I feel like people don't even deserve an album nowadays.
I agree with, and in some sense, that's a good way to put it.
If you're not fucking like Travis Scott, if you're not popping, like most people don't listen to like all 15 tracks, and it sucks. It's like, dude, you put in just as much work as that dude did, but he's just on another level, so he's getting recognition.
Yeah.
But it doesn't take away from what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Your shit is still dope just because people don't know it is. So that bugs me a lot. I'm not trying to put out 8 projects and have people just listen to the first 4, and then the plays drop off, and you're like, did they even go that far to listen, or was there attention?
Was it just the link clicked and then they like moved on to a different app or something?
Attention span? Is the music not good enough? You really don't know, and that bugs me. But when you put out a single, you could literally watch it. Like, okay, last week that record hit 10, this record hit 7. There's a reason for that. You know what I'm saying? It's plain and simple. So to me, that's kind of like a lot of music for me, like my music, because I'm not on like that. you always want gratification from people. So for me, it's important.
Just in life, though.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
general,
Not just music
especially
making.
with music, it helps like when you have other people.
Watch my interviews.
Yeah, you know, exactly. There's a lot. It's dope when other people fuck with you, but yeah, man, it's just fucking.
So do you think the stats and like being able to see like in which city you were most popping that week, does that kind of get in your head in a sense though? Like, do you feel like
I haven't looked at the cities too much. Like here and there, I've noticed it. Like in other.
Well, I just mean stats in general. Like, you know, going from selling mixtapes in high school, no one they could lie to you and say they listened to the thing. But
I mean, yeah, you know, that's the thing. It's but you know, when I said mixtapes, I meant like honestly, like I was burning like Nas and.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
oh,
like,
that's hustle. Okay, I was
mixtapes.
confused.
Yeah, I didn't have the balls to sell my own mixtapes.
No, that's way more baller though. To burn someone else's mixtape than the hustle though.
Dude, I was like illegally, you know, like that's when Napster was popping and shit, like LimeWire.
If I get some people at my door asking for your information, I'm sorry, bro. I can't deal with
They
that.
already know I'm in Chatsworth.
they're just gonna be scoring chats where just to find you, get you for those mixtapes that you burned back in the day. Nas wants his royalties. So, what do you think about the idea of like a concept and someone having a concept and then transitioning that into a project? Do you feel like if you had a concept and you're like, all right, this one moment went down, I want to encapsulate this into a 5-track EP, but then that 5 tracks, like we're saying, like 3rd and 4th and 5th are just dropping. Does that deteriorate from the concept? Do you know what I mean? Like as an artist, do you have to let the line sit where you're like, the plays don't dictate what the message is?
Definitely. I mean, like if you have an album that's conceptual, by all means, you should put that shit out. Because if it's following a story and people don't want, you know, people should listen to your story all the way through. But I think like I go back and forth with myself, like having a conceptual album or just working on an EP. And then sometimes I'm just like, damn, I can't hold on to these records. I just want to put them out, you know? So then there's always that.
Then that's where retroactive EPs come up, where it's like basically a collection of your releases and stuff. And like,
it's like, I don't know. Like, I think,
because the play drop off is consistent with all artists. You'll see Lil Uzi and he drops 2, and it's like, you know, he's still in the 100,000s, but it's like, yo, there's a difference between 2 million and 100K.
Yeah, it's weird.
On track 17 of your project.
Yeah, it's definitely weird. I don't like that shit, you know, honestly.
It's weird because before we could never really see the play count, so you never really knew that track 7 wasn't the most played. But now that that's in your face at all times, it's like it changes the conceptualization of what. That's why Chance is like, am I the only one who makes mixtapes? It's like, yeah, Chance, you are, because you also like don't give a fuck. Like,
yeah, I mean, you know, honestly, maybe if people asked me, like if I had like people hitting me, are you gonna give us a tape? It's like, all right, fine, I'll give you a fucking tape. But no one's asking me for a tape, so it's like, it's cool. I'm gonna just keep putting out songs and.
Sorry, this was for conversation's sake of conversation.
Yeah.
Talk, because it's interesting
in general,
how the SoundCloud world works.
Yeah,
like,
it's
being an independent artist and someone on the come up from SoundCloud, purely more or less, and Twitters and all that stuff and blogs. But you know, SoundCloud is kind of your base. That's where people can find the art that you put out
music,
there, and get a concept of who I'm talking to. Again, if you're watching live on Twitch, just go over to SoundCloud.com/. Benji, and
my SoundCloud's Who Is Benji.
Who Is Benji? There we go.
Twitter's Benji.
Below. Still getting used to having all this shit below me. I'm pretty bad at this video shit, but it's all good. You have a distinct rap voice, in my opinion. I can't compare it to anything, but it's like it's Benji's voice. And talking to you now, I hear it, and it's your real voice. We can confirm. And I know you're laughing, but it's true, dude.
Yeah.
You've been making music a while. I've mentioned that like 20 times now, but you like compare your old rap voice to this rap voice. Has it been consistent, or is that something you just developed and that's now your voice? Because now I can't tell. I was almost expecting you to be like, "Hey, my name's Benji," like sounding completely different. I'd be like, "Okay, he like changes his voice," you know? But
nah, like low key, a lot of people have always told me like I have a really deep voice, and like I forget, like my aunt was like, "Oh, you should come." You know, she's my aunt on this side is Persian, and she works in Persian radio, and she's like, "Oh, you should come on the Persian radio and use your voice." I'm like, "Nah, I'm good."
Use your voice.
So I've always been told things about my voice, people have always, like, even when my raps were shitty, dude, like, I didn't know how to count bars, and I was just like, it was a mess. People always complimented my voice though, which was cool to me.
Like, I like your voice.
Yeah, like I always had my voice. It was like, the raps are shitty, but your voice is great, dude. I'm like, all right, thanks. So that's, I think, always been something I've tried to, like, Google shit and warm up my voice and try to figure out ways of, how to address my voice on each record. But yeah, this is my voice.
Yeah, I mean, can confirm you heard it here first. Yeah, I know that was a weird, but I was listening to your music earlier today. I try to listen to the whole like SoundCloud page or more or less before I interview people.
Good looking out.
And I was just sitting there, I was like, damn, I can't picture. It's almost like he sounds like somebody, but it's like you just sound like you. If I don't know, it was tripping me up though.
Yeah, I don't know like what comparisons I've gotten. I haven't gotten that. No one ever says like, "Oh, you sound like so and so."
I think it's just you, dude, and I think I was just tripping myself out. And the next question that I had was like, explain the road to starting your music career. We already kind of talked about that. What I kind of want to ask you is, it doesn't have to be specifics, but has there been something that was like a roadblock in this whole career starter and like getting this going that maybe you didn't think was something that you were gonna run into? Whether that's
that's like daily, like daily. You don't know what's gonna happen, so shit, man, it is always a constant battle. Sometimes you're like, am I even dope, am I even good, should I keep rapping, should I do something else, but the problem is anytime I have tried to step away, I just find myself like engulfing myself all over again, and like I'm like, what the fuck, I just told myself I'm gonna do something else for a second, and it just doesn't work out. So
like you start writing again.
I start writing, I start playing a beat, I'm like, I start listening to music, and it's just it runs, I don't know, it runs in me. And even if no one cares, I'm always just kind of do it. I'm always have like a weekend I take to record something and play it for myself and my friends. Fuck it, whatever.
Man, that's as honest as it gets on here. Seriously, fuck. I resonated with that because that's how I feel with riding. Sometimes it's true for anybody doing anything. If you can't fucking ride your 2-wheel bike, like Benji is telling you, you fucking can, because like you gotta stay with it. If you're like, I'm not a good bike rider, you are, dude. You just gotta keep at it.
Yeah, not everyone is a fucking natural. Some people like fucking late night, just freestyle a track. Some people gotta write it.
Now that you come in the room, dude, you're coming up all the time. We're gassing you now.
I'll get you.
Late nights in the background. Just a heads up. We're not talking to no one.
I wrote my new song.
Oh, he wrote it. Oh, shit.
Okay.
All right. Well, we should.
We're gonna stop talking.
Late night interview number 2 coming soon. How do you feel about SoundCloud? Is that, do you think that's the future? You think it's going to fizzle out? But as far as, I don't know, SoundCloud's been around for more than 10 years, I would assume, but really since 2000, I'm going to say 10 to be generous.
People keep saying it's going to fizzle out, but like even major artists just keep dropping, like everything that drops.
Goldlink just dropped on that guy.
Yeah,
and
and
he
it's
has
like
an album
everything
out.
is on that platform, and
it's not previews necessarily.
Yeah, and it's because it's free, most of the time it's free. I don't know. I'm a big on putting out the free music. It's cool they have all the streams now, so I'm curious. I don't know, like if Apple is gonna buy.
It's weird because Twitter just invested in someone.
Spotify supposed to buy SoundCloud or something?
There's some rumors of that because
so
basically SoundCloud lost a bunch of money last year in the fiscal year. They lost like $200 million. So basically on like everything, that every subreddit of like anybody who uploads stuff, like porn people, like all stuff, like just weird avenues of stuff, they're just like, hey, back up your stuff because SoundCloud could be gone tomorrow type of thing. Once that happened, all these other companies started pouring in some money. Twitter did it. Spotify, I even think, poured in a little bit of money. So they believe in the concept. It's just, it's hard to monetize on SoundCloud because it's a lot of like, I could take Goldlink's song, if he took that off tomorrow, I could have that file and re-upload it to SoundCloud, and there's nothing that could stop me from doing that. So monetizing is a weird thing, and it's a weird place, man. You know what I mean? Like you record a song in 10 minutes, it can be in front of billions of people. Literally, because you just have to type in www./ whatever, and
legit,
it's just a gateway. And I don't know. Do you think it's going to be? You think the music industry from now on is always going to have a free option? Because even Spotify in some ways is free. You can
like
still access that.
The whole like multiple platforms of music shit is like really it's irritating to me. I don't like it. I don't know. Like I've never thought about how the hell it's gonna all work, because it's irritating when you want to go listen to somebody but it's only on Tidal, or you want to go listen to somebody and it's only on Apple Music.
Well, that's
like,
some bullshit stuff. Like,
yeah,
that's
it's like, dude, this is music, man. I'm just trying to hear it. You know, like, why can't I have it on every platform? That's like some shit they got to figure out.
How many people subscribed to Tidal when Life of Pablo came out, just because it was only on there?
Yeah, that's what I heard.
So many, so many.
Yeah, I mean,
some people are probably still paying that in the monthly like renew and don't even know it because they just don't pay attention.
I did it.
Hell yeah.
I can tell you I did it, you know. And
I respect that.
Yeah, and I fucking canceled my membership because Apple Music's better.
It really is, dude. Apple Music is one of those things where you just it works.
But yeah, I don't honestly, man. It'd be cool for them to figure out a way to get paid on SoundCloud and just have. But
they have the premium option, but it's like to such a high, like you have to be at such a level cap to be like at like 200,000 subscribers to even get acknowledged into that, and it doesn't
really?
retroactively pay you for all the shit that you just did. So
Yeah.
it's like starting from this point we'll pay you. It's like, but I just had the 5 million play song and like that's why I'm here. You know what I mean? It's to each its own, but SoundCloud has to figure out a way.
It's a mess. I personally think like,
but I'm more talking about the message of SoundCloud that like
I love it. You know,
it's not constricting.
It's
anybody
a guy like Russ. Honestly, I keep going back to him, but a guy like Russ can show you.
It's a great example.
Exactly how SoundCloud could take you from nobody to 100 followers to, you know, playing sold out shows all over the world. So you know that's. Simple as that. I just think it's
there was that tweet, it honestly might have been you. I don't pay attention who retweets what, but it was basically a bunch of pictures of old rappers Twitters, and they're basically like it was like J. Cole, and he's like, thanks for 400 like followers.
Oh yeah.
And he was like all amped, and he was just like, fuck yeah, I hit 400 followers.
It was like Mac Miller like reaching out to like J. Cole.
That was
like,
one of them.
And it was like J. Cole like having 100 followers, and it was like Fetty Wap when Trap Queen had like 300 plays on it, shit like that. And that shit is like, when you see that, it's like
surreal.
Yeah, that's amazing.
By definition, the truest.
Everyone starts from the bottom, you know, and like people forget that shit.
Who are some of your favorite artists on SoundCloud that you listening to? Do you listen to primary SoundCloud or like Apple Music is better, like you said?
Yo, low-key, I do listen to my SoundCloud playlist a lot. Like a lot. I have my likes that I listen to.
Yeah.
So I do listen to, you know, I listen to my boy Late Night over here a lot. No, like no joke, I do. I listen to Jay East a lot. I listen to Hope 4+ Signs a lot. Shit. I listen to Russ.
I was like, what is this?
Shit. Listen to Cass. I really like Caskey. I don't know if a lot of people know about Caskey.
Mm-hmm.
He's like from Young Money. He's really, no, my bad. He's from Cash Money, and he's really dope.
Someone would get real pissed here.
Yeah, it's confusing.
What'd you call me?
That dude's dope. Shit. A lot of dope people. I would have to like open my, you know, SoundCloud.
100%.
Just to go through. There's so many dope artists nowadays.
Anyone that you're
It's
trying
ridiculous.
to collab with? I mean, you just did a song with McGuire. You got some stuff with Late Night and Emilio coming.
Yeah, I got, you know, something with Art coming out too. I got something with this dude Gray. Shit, man.
Gray is cool.
Yeah, Gray's dope.
Hell yeah.
You know, there's a lot of dope people I want to work with. Just off the top, like, man, you were saying like your dream, like the dream
that's the next
collab,
one. That's
man.
where I was segueing into.
Yeah,
like money's not a factor.
Fuck,
Like
dude.
Shaka, I threw in like Childish, and like Shaka's eyes widened, and he's like, "Holy shit, that'd be
Yeah,
dope."
I like, honestly, I fuck with like Kaylani.
Kaylani.
Like, I something about Kaylani I really like.
She's on that new Danny Brown album. Just throwing that out
Is
there.
she?
Yeah.
All right. Yes, dude. Something about Kaylani. Dude, fuck The Weeknd. You know, obviously, that dude is amazing. But yeah, I mean, that's like aiming.
Kaylani's such a cool, because I could hear that just, I wouldn't have to squint too much. Like I could just hear where she would come in on the track and how it would complement and everything.
Yeah, Kaylani's really dope, man.
Hell yeah.
I don't know if you heard of this chick, Lexi Alasia.
No, I don't know who that is.
She, you should check her out. Kaylani put her on her album. This chick, she's like 18.
You said Alexi Kalasia?
Lexi Alasia.
I just mixed up their two names.
She's really dope, dude. She's like J. Cole. She's like J. Cole and Nas. Like a little, man, these girls out here rapping are rapping a lot harder than a lot of these dudes nowadays, man. It's crazy, but she's really dope. I like to work with her. You know, I've talked to her, so that's just about getting the money right. But yeah, man, there's a lot of dope artists out there on SoundCloud I want to work with.
So, first song I heard was Smoke.
Really? That was the first one you heard?
That was the first one I heard.
All right.
I don't know how late I heard it, you know, in comparison to when it dropped, but that was the first one I heard.
That's dope.
My favorite though is Making Plays. Making Plays is my favorite song by you by far. It's, I don't know why, just the way you come on and like, I think you have a very gifted ability to balance the flex and tell an honest story though.
Yeah,
like,
that song was inspired by Quentin Miller.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a record I heard from Quentin Miller. I forget the name of it, and that flow was so hard, and it inspired me to write some shit like that, and that's where I got that from.
What do you say? I may be quoting the wrong song, but this is my favorite Benji line. It's like, I'm running through numbers. I feel so ready. I just fucked your bitch. And I hit the celly or something, and I'm just like, hell yeah, this gets me going, dude. I'm so amped for this. But how do you develop like your flow? Because in Making Play specifically, there's a very particular flow, like we were talking about. Is that something
Just
that comes
like
naturally?
Scatting to the beat.
You said scatting earlier.
Yeah, scat. I mean, that's most of the time, like a lot of the melody will come from that. But shit, I mean, honestly, just listening to people. Shout out to Genius.com, man. Genius is the fucking shit.
They really expanded their brand from just rap to like
They're
everything
great.
now.
They're great, dude.
They got that YouTube channel popping.
I mean, just, you know, pulling up people's flows, different lyrics, and, you know, like I remember like seeing it in like a Logic interview, and like that honestly is exactly how I am as well. Like he said it in this interview where he was talking about how he like borrows from different artists, and like, you know, he hears like a little flow that he likes here, and he'll go and like build off of it. So a lot of shit like that. Just like I hear like a dope flow from like Tory, or like Tory Lanez, or I'll hear something from like even Thugga, like Young Thug, and I'll hear something from dude, anybody. And that's what's funny. Like I'll just take a little part, like a little bar, and I'm like, damn, that's a dope flow, and I'll build off of that. So sometimes my scat will come just based off of inspiration like that. And you know, that's why I just be honest. You know, I always get inspired off of the shit I'm listening to.
Do you think that's important?
Yeah, man. And people that say like they don't, or you know, whatever, it's because, you know, I think all music comes from somewhere. You know, that snare that you're using, someone else has used that snare, someone else used that kick. You know what I'm saying? So just pay homage, be humble. You know, you could be honest, and yeah, man. I'm huge on that. I'm huge on listening to other artists, and, you know, taking something that they had that was really dope and building off of it. I think that's great, and that's what music's about, man.
I've been talking with you for like an hour, and you seem like a very genuine dude, especially talking about your craft. Is that a reflection of the environment that is around you when the whole art is being created, or is it just are you, because you mentioned karma, we weren't filming or anything, are you big on that type of thing? Like
I mean, I don't know, I just been raised by my mom, a single mom, and she's Buddhist, practiced Buddhism for like 10 years.
Okay.
So I mean, maybe it rubs off. I don't know, I don't know how to flex. Like, I don't know how to lie about this shit. I'm just being honest.
Yeah.
I don't know how to be like a gimmicky
It's
rapper.
an honest flex.
Yeah, I don't know how to be a gimmicky rapper, you know? Like, I see everything on TV, and I see World Star, and I see all that shit. I just don't know how to act like that, you know? It's not me. I just enjoy making music, and I understand, you know, like, urban culture and all that shit, and I just don't know how to... I'm just me, you know? And I don't know how to...
I don't think anyone's trying to pull anything else out of you, man.
Yeah.
Fucking talking with you has been one of my favorite things to do, honestly. Thank you for stopping by. We're coming to the end of this thing, unfortunately, but 2017, man, do you like you said, we're not it's not like we're fucking putting out 6 albums, you know, or anything, but what if you could give me some plans or maybe some goals, whether they're short-term, long-term, or just something in general that you want to maybe pitch to your audience?
You know, we're just hopefully next year, you know, I'm just building off of what I have. We're just getting the wheels turning, you know, and just making better music. Like I was telling you, stepping up these bars, putting out better shit, and just being more consistent. But, you know, just doing what I'm doing, man. It's if people are noticing, just keep working off of that, and just try to keep getting better, man. That's all I could do, you know. But just keep putting out singles, put out this shit with Late Night, put out this shit with Emilio. Shout out Emilio.
in rotation number 1, we had Late Night and Amelia in here. That's really where it got started. So shout out to Late Night and Amelia for really pushing me to go buy my mics that day. Literally, do you remember throwing that shit together? And now we're able to have other people in here to talk about this.
For real,
shit.
like, yeah, shout out to you guys, Constant Rotation over here.
We appreciate
doing this and like just always supporting the music, man. And that's really what it's about, man.
We're trying to get the different stuff in rotation, you know.
Exactly.
What I mean? A lot of people
You know?
can get access to stuff, but no one's necessarily getting access to Benji. But we're gonna try and make sure that happens.
Yeah, we gonna push Benji.
Push Benji all day, dude. Of course, of course. You are a prominent in rotation member, bro.
But yeah, man, we're gonna just try to have a strong 2017. Put out more records. Hopefully, try to put out something at least every week. At least 2-3 records a month, something like that, and just keep feeding people and try to build the following more. That's all we could do.
For anyone who has listened to your music and isn't a fan right now, is there something that you want to say to them? This is the moment where I kind of just let them say. I mean, that what you just said kind of was that, but
I mean, you guys see me here. I'm me. I just love making music. Follow me on Twitter. If you don't like what I'm doing or you want me to do something else, let me know. I'll consider it. But I probably won't listen to you. But yeah, otherwise, I just stay true to myself and, try to make music. Fuck that. Fuck all that other shit.
hell yeah. I mean, talking with you, man, has been one of my favorite things, especially reach out to some of these guys, maybe have a conversation, get inspired. Like, honestly, Benji is a cool ass dude to talk to, and that's something that I learned from like the minute you got out of your car. We were just shooting shit in the street, just like being like, oh dude, this is my ghetto town, like, hey, how's it going? Don't hate on it too much. I love
Boonies,
it.
man.
I love it, bro. You called it the boonies. I was like, I don't know if I'd go that far, but wait. Okay, whatever, man. I apparently live on the boony side of the town. Anyways, this has been an in rotation conversation. Benji, where can they find you, man?
Follow me on Twitter, Benji. SoundCloud, who is Benji? Shit, that's just follow me there.
Just give it a listen. Don't fuck around. He's in rotation compilations all day.
I'll hop in and say something.
Yeah.
I came over here to officially invite Benji to the 4+ Sign Sounds family, so that's why I came over here.
Okay.
So if you wanted to run with us, bro, that's why I came over here, bro.
Good looking
So,
out, man.
welcome to
Appreciate
the family,
it.
bro.
Hey, that's love, man.
100%.
4+ Signs.
Is this all right? Fuck yeah! You heard it here first. My name's Garrett, at Yogurt on Twitter, YOGRRTT. You can find me at concertrotation.com. New in rotation compilation every Monday.
I thought you pronounced it grit.
Grit, yogurt.
Yogurt. That's dope, like yogurt.
Yeah, 100%. It's my third favorite non-frozen dairy product, right behind chocolate milk and strawberry milk.
I'm out here with some things. I'm out here building shit up with the team. I'm out here with these bros that's trying to scheme. I'm out here on the beat, skirt off, make a scene. Out here with my boys who got a dream. Out here in the cut and making something with no me. I'm out here with some boys who want the green. I'm out here on the beat, skirt off, make a scene. I'm so lit, I don't ever feel wrong. Out here on a beat. When the shit hit the fan, we get gone. I'm out here on a beat. They never saw what's coming. I'm walking on water, my money is colors, I'm counting the double. Came with a duffel, you know these my brothers. I count me a big face of face in a bundle. Show up with effort, she text me the extras. Penetrated, she cooked me some breakfast. How does it feel that you can't even measure? I hit me a dab and live up to the pressure. You not on my level, not in the system. We got it, don't ask for permission. The 8 ball is missing. I knew we could do it, I swear it was all in my vision. The money is blinding you down. They draped in Gucci, I rock me some bands. Hit me a lick and that made me aggressive. And knowing to see my ball with the plan. I mean, never know how with the pen. Right dough, sweat is bit bold. Fuck her on a cherry wood flow. Hattie pill, I got pie, she gon' buy. They got stock, I'm gon' tape it, let her taste it. Put that mouth around my car, move that work around the crowd. Play with skirt until they drop. I could make that money go, pass it. We don't trust your shot. We could settle in and melt the pot. I'm that guy you need to stop. You fuck me over, I'ma get you to pay me what you got. I'm out here with some things. I'm out here building shit up with the team. I'm out here with these bras that's trying to scheme. I'm out here on the beam. Skirt off, make a scene. Out here with my boys who got a dream. Out here in the cut and making something with no me. I'm out here with some boys who want the green. I'm out here on the beam. Skirt off, make a scene. I'm so lit, I don't ever feel wrong. Out here on a beat. When this shit hit the fan, we get gone. Never knew my head isn't feeling so empty. The dishes are fancy, my diamonds are dancing. Came with a penny, she left with no pennies. I swear if you ask me, these ladies are handsome. Show up with Benji, she leave with them Benjis. I'm fresh, she ready, she all in the friends. How does it feel that you can't even get me? I fill up my bag and roll up till I'm empty. You not on my level, not at the table. We got it, don't ask if I'm able. The money is stable. I knew I would do it, but please just don't give me this label. The rumors keep weighing me down. They talking Twitter, they IG around. Pass up your work cause I'm hella selective, and no one is feeling your shit in the crowd. I mean, never, no way, in a zone, on a wave. Swim my shit, flame, got us with the fucking app waves. Any boss I could take, I could share, cause he's a great. I could take, let me taste it. Put your legs around my face. Park that whip outside my place. Hit the Devon, then we skate. I can hear your music fade. Stop it, I don't want your tape. I'm pulling up to hit the bank. I'm that man you gotta thank. You fuck me over, I'ma get you to write a check that's blank. I'm out here with some things. I'm out here building shit up with the team. I'm out here with these bras that's trying to scheme. I'm out here on the beam. Skirt off, make a scene. Out here with my boys who got a dream.